And in the Impact segment tonight, about a month after the presidential election, there are still some very hard feelings on the part of Americans who expected Mitt Romney to defeat President Obama. State of Florida was key, with the president winning by just 74,000 votes out of more than 8 million cast. Joining us now from Washington, Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican from Florida. So first up, Senator, why did your state go for Obama?
Well, first, thank you, Bill, for having me on. Look, I think throughout the campaign I said that Florida would be a very close and competitive state. So let's start by admitting the obvious. The president ran a very good grassroots operation. They invested a lot of money into the infrastructure and technology. And, you know, we should look and learn from that, because the technological high ground always wins these things.
Separately from that, I'm perplexed because I thought Florida would go for Mitt Romney based upon the economy primarily. But Romney spent a lot of time and money there. But what message that the president brought to Florida swayed it for him?
You know, I'm not sure it's the president's message. I think it's the message that perhaps we need to do a better job of as a movement, not just as the Republican Party. Of those of us who believe in limited government and free enterprise have to do a better and more consistent job of explaining to people why free enterprise and limited government is the best way forward for them.
But they elected you in Florida. They elected Governor Scott. Both of you guys are conservative, smaller government people. And this is why it's so confusing. Because you elect Scott. Now, they did elect, a liberal senator there, and they're kind of all over the place. But I just don't know why Florida, Virginia, Ohio, Colorado I kind of know. Why the Republican message didn't resonate. I don't understand why the Republican message did not resonate in those states.
Well, I can't speak to those other states in detail, but I can tell you about Florida that there's a tremendous amount of anxiety from people that feel like they're never going to make it to the middle class, or they're never going to be able to move ahead in life and leave their children better off. And I think our challenge for those of us like me who believe and know that limited government is the right way forward and that the free enterprise system is the only solution, to do a better job of communicating that, taking our principles and applying it to their hopes and their dreams. And look, our take on this is pretty straightforward. The way forward for this country, the way we're going to move ahead, is not by making rich people poorer. It's by making poor people richer. And that's what our policies are about. That's what free enterprise and limited government is about. And that's what I hope that we'll do a better job so that we will win those elections in the future.
Okay, but it looks like now that the president and the Democrats are going to make rich people poorer. I mean, not to a great extent, but they're going to raise the top marginal tax rates and the cap gains rate. And they're going to do all the things that you oppose. You don't want that to happen. First of all, do you think there's going to be a deal on the budget? Or are we going to go into January with an automatic tax rise and all of that?
Well, my hope is that not just a deal. The last time we had a deal, it created this fiscal cliff. My hope is that we have a solution. And here's the bottom line on all this. If they do all the things the president's asking for, we're all going to be worse off. Because the truth is, it's not about just a pledge or protecting millionaires and billionaires. You raise those taxes, and the true millionaires and billionaires, they're going to figure this stuff out. The people who are going to get crushed are the small and mid-sized businesses who pay on their personal rate. They're going to get hurt by this. They're going to have to raise their prices. They're going to have to lay people off. They're going to have to cut hours. That's going to hurt the middle class. That's going to hurt the working class.
But it seems the president is intransigent. He's not going to. He basically said again today, look, we're going to raise the rate. And if you don't like it, we're not going to get a deal. It seems like that's where we're going here.
Well, that's unfortunate, because what the president's doing is, instead of saying, okay, the campaign's over, let me govern, he's saying, let's continue this campaign and let's put a trophy in the liberal trophy case. And the truth of the matter is that what the president is proposing is not going to do anything for the debt. We can't say that enough. These taxes the president wants, if we gave him all of these tax increases, it pays for 8.5 days worth of government. It doesn't do anything for the national debt, but it will destroy middle-class job creation. And the more we tell people that, I think the stronger we're going to be in being able to negotiate a solution moving forward.
Handicap it real quick. Is it going to happen, or are you going to go into January with chaos?
Well, at a minimum, what I hope is that we'll be able to do something here that avoids this fiscal cliff, which, by the way, Bill, is a creation of Congress. It's a bipartisan creation. This fiscal cliff is the result of the last fiscal cliff, which was the debt limit deal.
They put a date on there, and and they may extend a date. That's what I think is going to happen.
So my hope is that we can avoid the bad stuff, but then we have to deal with the $16 trillion debt, the $1 trillion a year in deficit spending. We have to solve that. Thing's not going to solve itself.
But it doesn't seem like the president feels the urgency that you feel. So going forward now, you're one of the leaders of the party, of the Republican Party, whether you want to be or not. There you are, okay? So you find yourself now trying to get the Republican Party reorganized and back into the populist column. Ain't going to be easy for you, Senator, because you got to be the senator from Florida and at the same time try to resurrect this party.
Well, but I think the people of Florida have the same anxieties as the people of our country. I'm informed by my own background and my own experience in life. My parents worked in the service industry, and yet they were able to afford to buy a house, and they never gave us everything we wanted, but we always had more than we needed, thank God, and thank this country. You know what? That's only going to be possible in the future if we have limited government and free enterprise. Let's never forget that people come here from all over the world to get away from big government. And for the life of me, I don't understand why we have not done a better job of laying that out, but I hope to be one of, I hope, multiple voices out there that are making that argument, because it really is the only way forward for us. We will never be able to raise enough taxes to get out of this situation that we're in. You can't generate enough revenue like that. The only way forward for us is rapid economic growth, not new taxes. We need new taxpayers.
All right. Senator, thanks very much.